Alrighty, daily trading recap. Let's get after it on this Tuesday, the 17th of May, 2022. To Christ be the glory. Let's go over dollar volume quick before the crazy thumbnail that we had today. Once again, NASDAQ $229 billion volume as of 36 minutes after the close here. NYSE $325 billion volume. OTC markets $2.0 billion volume on the day. Absolute zaniness. That's just the word that came to my mind when writing in my journal notes for the day. Just kind of zaniness and weirdness of how everything was structured and going. Everything went according to plan, and I just we'll say this reminder once again for me. Of course, this looks like a big red number to pop up on the one day that I've closed out this trade intraday, but this trade for me is not over. This trade has, and the just overall unfortunate aspect of it is again, here I am the first time that I size in with a full ES contract size. This is just one ES contract that I took for the full session-wide move there, looking to the short side on that one of really nothing offered whatsoever to the downside, especially looking at the ES session-wide daily here. Nothing offered from the start here, just like a few 2 points, 1.5 points that was offered below that open price, if you can even get filled right around that open in that session-wide open there. Regardless, so this is just one of the factored in losing trades of this overall strategy. It's got for the specific price target that I'm looking for, the point target, 83, somewhere that 80% hit rate mark. And so these factoring in these 2 days compared to the last week of trading as well. If we're considering this like a full 10-day schedule, we'd expect 2 days at least to be losing days, and then those would factor into the overall profitability of what this trade would suggest. So for what price target I'm going for, I mean, there was nothing even relatively close today, specifically of getting filled on that price target. But again, just to bring it back down to perspective for me as I pull these videos up again in future me watching these again, or just, of course, I know other people looking at just the explanation for seeing a huge red number compared to the past little small tiny wins of just, it's obviously seems like it's just, this is not a profitable strategy. But truthfully, if I had continued to do full ES contract size from the start of this strategy, I would still be net over $4,000. In the past week and a half, 2 weeks that I started doing this downward profit target as well on the session-wide strategy, factoring in today's losses as well. So that's just what this strategy is. It's still basing around 600 points over the course of 100 trades, so averaging like 6 points per day that we're getting. That's just far relatively less than what we would be getting each day, but obviously factoring in the losing days like this, that's what we would overall net. But gosh, yeah, this is what this strategy is. It's just unfortunately hard when you want to put your big boy pants on and want to start taking the big boy size. This is what I told myself and what I've said, that this is what needs to be done. These are the losing days that has to happen. And for how just conveniently each and every single time it's just, I take the big size on days like this, and I take that step when you only had 1.5 points to the downside there. There was just literally nothing whatsoever. We just started immediately running up huge, call it a dip bounce here for how it's gap. We had a nice gap in SPY overall, 2% in the green. Just very nice gap. Looked like it was fading off a little bit and rejecting at VWAP during the morning session, but sure enough reclaimed and had a little sketchiness, zaniness once again, but closed decently strong and is still holding that relative new highs here from that dip bottom. But yeah, the little small scalpy session-wide ES strategy that I had to the upside, of course, worked for that tiny little scalp. And then also pairing alongside that big loss on the downside profit target for the overall session-wide strategy. The 930 strategy did not work out either. It was just that 1 point, tiny little scalp that's just been hidden so consistently and been factored in as a very successful trade overall, still with those losers accompanying it. Did not happen today, and I found that I used to go off of using the 10 o'clock time frame as my stop, using a time as a stop versus any just point-wide stop variable that way. But shifting that back down to the 9:45 time frame, I've found has actually reduced the losses there and actually provided more of a profitable strategy. In total, we did have a little attempt just before that to reclaim back above VWAP and come close to that opening price. I think this was in less than a point away from where I was filled right there. So kind of was waiting for this, if this was going to have any more if it had a minute more of steam of just any quick little volume coming in, to just splash it above that little open price there to give it just that little bit of variance for this for the morning, the first 15 minutes of morning craziness, that's what I'm trading off of with that strategy specifically, but just wasn't there. So sure enough, ended up cutting that one at the 946 candle here, right around that point. I did actually find a little bottom one contract on the dip and took it for 2 points. So scalped a little tiny microness out of it there. But that also reflected into just, for some reason, I don't know, I don't want to say for some reason, but I know the reason of, I was able to maintain a totally clear composure and headspace the entire day through all the crazy unrealized losses and just craziness of the trying to know what margin I had and how these strategies were actually working. And I think just the craziness overall stemmed from me now trying to run everything through ES instead of how I had it set up and staggered through MES and ES. And the broker and the NinjaTrader had a better time dealing with that and sending the orders in the MES space and also the ES space versus now me trying to be both long and short at the same time and then factoring in, okay, how many different contracts has he got for this one? And okay, now he's long, but he's actually trying to go short here. And when he sells these long here, blah, 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 all those different things. That was where the zaniness came from on the day. But sure enough, I was just totally able to focus and dig into the backtested data that I've continued to find myself in for these past few months of going on this futures strategy little grind there, and that I will continue to definitely do for the next few summer months here as well. As I still feel I didn't know equity trading on the day. I mean, VERU still running a little bit. But gosh, yeah, it's just so hard for me to try to put anything right now into equities unless there's just a huge, massive slap in the face opportunity that would make me force my hands to push the buttons on there. Or just really not even trying to take 80 stabs on it just to save the mental capital, I think, and just kind of give myself that little palate cleansing breather away from that small cap style of trading or any OTC trading or just anything on the equity side that way. Versus this one of just continuing to say, hey, there's still opportunity here. There's still probability and overall net profitability on these trades. So we're just going to continue to hammer. And certainly these are still giving me my taste and licks of hard losing days and the understanding what my relationship is to money. And this day today has just been, I give it such a great metric for my growth in my understanding of my relation to money. And also just overall an understanding of, okay, it says this is a huge red number on the day, but I also know that when I continue to do this strategy, the next day I'm going to say it with a very high percentage probability chance it's going to be over a 1K plus day tomorrow as well. So understanding that, and then the following day after that, for what I know should be, of course, everything is should be the probability of this trade, it's not done. And I'm not dead. I'm still alive and breathing. I'm still ready to come and attack the markets. And that's the biggest thing in all of it, is even through the crazy losses that I could potentially have, I know that I just need that little tiny piece to still stay in the game. And that's the biggest thing that I'm after, is to still be able to play the game and not to wear myself out with summer months trading of just kind of bashing my head against the window of trying and trying and trying again and nothing even coming to prosper whatsoever, but of keeping myself fresh, expanding myself horizontally in other directions to be able to come back to the market when there's just blow your socks off awesome opportunity slapping me in the face every single day, hopefully every other day. That's when I can push the lever even harder there and just continue to attack it with a fresher mind space than if I was just trying to learn from the markets and still put in that screen time, but really be wasting my time away when I could be just kind of doing other things and getting more experience outside of just these red and green candles right in front of me here. But yeah, a lot of words, a lot of craziness a lot of words that could be said about today that I want to say, but everything's going to plan. I really have zero hard feelings about this money, which I attribute to that growth aspect as well, that I can just put a nice label on today as well for just how I reacted to today, how I was going about my business and conducting this operation. Everything went according to plan, even through the zaniness and just weirdness of everything trying to funnel through that ES comb. Of course, the brokers don't like doing that, but it's just still dealing in reality, dealing in the moment, and not being forced out or panicked out or FOMO'd out or just at any point in time stuck to my stops, stuck to my time stop variables there. They just didn't work out today. Just compounding hard red day today, which is unfortunate, but it's part of stock market trading. It's not going to be green days every single day, as it's kind of been the last few weeks there, and I've kind of been looking out and keeping myself manageable and accountable to say, hey, this is kind of unrealistic. I don't want to just get my head too big of an airhead here and thinking that I'm invincible on cloud nine. Let's not just try and overblow our size here. Let's not just go absolutely zany crazy with trying to leverage ourselves or just push it way too much harder. just understand and be grateful for every opportunity that does come our way, and that every little nickel that we can grab in front of the steamroller, and just be gracious when we do get a little bit of slap from that steamroller, that we weren't fully smashed underneath it as it ran over us. But yeah, that's the stock market that is trading, and extremely thankful for it to just continue to come back to the next day, and come back to the next day after that, and come back to the next day after that. It's not a one-day journey. It is the total accumulation of each and every single trade that will make this career. And that's what I'm so excited for, to show up each and every single day, that it's redefining who I view myself as, and just how I go about my daily life. And that's what I love so much about this entire aspect in the occupation, beyond the point of not even having to wear pants or talk to any people throughout the day. That is a huge plus as well. But that is really all that I had. I sincerely thank each and every one of you for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.